Well, it's been a long, hot day, and as always, we call on this press conference for to talk about the issues of the Gambia. But first, I would send my greetings out to all the elders of the Gambia, the head of state of the Gambia, Mr. Adam Barrow, His Excellency Adam Barrow, his family. I will send my greetings to all the party leaders of the Gambia, the imams, the priest, the bishop of the Gambia, all the governors, the alcalos, and chiefs of the Gambia, women, men, and youth of the Gambia. I'm sending my greetings to all of you. This message right here today is about what we are going through in the Gambia. Li nga xamne mom lañ nekk di dunda ci Gambia, comme ni ma waxoon si angale di nuyu ñëpp ñi nga xam ne ñoo nekk ci Gambia, bokk ci Gambia, taxaw ci Gambia from jiiti réew bi ba political party leaders yi, chief yi ak alkaalo yi, bishop yi, church yi, ñëpp maa ngi leen a nuyu ci seen tur ak seen sant ak seen taxawaay. We come here today to talk about all the crisis and everything that has happened or is happening in the Gambia. Yes, we did see the president giving his speech at the National Assembly. I will start from there. And it's about the oil saga. And he has confirmed that we have no oil. But meanwhile, we are watching all these TVs from Senegal and other countries telling us we have oil. Now, what I want to say on that is we're not going to dwell on that as political party leaders, as opposition that don't have the access to such. Because as oppositions, if you, the citizens that elect these people in office, cannot have access, then definitely we don't have access to. We're in the same pot as you. But be rest assured that we will get to the bottom of it, and we will know if Gambia or Gambia's children are privy or will have access to their livelihood or their future by knowing if we have oil or not. If there are deals under the table, we will uproot those deals out, and the Gambian people will know what we have. So his speech at the National Assembly, for me, was disappointing. Because you see, most of the time, we have greater issues in this country. Te li ma wax si angale mooy, gis nañ président bi jox na kaddu si National Assembly di wax affaire diw bi ne amuñ diw. Waaye loolu yéen amu leen ci access, man Mari Sock awuma ci access, politicians si fi toog yëpp kenn si ñun mënuñu am access because dëkk bi dafa mel ni ña fa toog dañuy nëba information. Lañ war a wax won ko askan bi xam ko duñ ko def. Waaye tey toog nañ si télévision Sénégal ñu dégg sénégalais boo xam ne oo na Gambian yi di leen wax ne am ngeen oil. Toog nañ ci biir dëkk bi gis fi ñëpp di jàppante, ay tubaab di fi jàppante, ay sénégalais di fi jàppante du dugg ak génn ndik dañ ne am nañ diw. Waaye bu fekkee ne suñ jiiti réew moo toog ci kàddu ne amuñ ko, bon ñun ñëpp dañ war a noppi ne amuñ ko ba yàlla def ñu wecci nguur gi ñu toog ñu ut fan la suñ alal bi nekk. Parce que loolu moo fi ses soo nañ bàyyi waxi diw ba bu ñu yàlla mayee ñu mun koo wax. Am na lawyers yoo xam ne nag ndeysaan ñu cee xar seen tànki tubéy yi, lawyer Mbay, very young lawyer, dynamic, pour mun a find out. Waaye yëpp dina génn incha allah. Li gën a important tey mooy naxaate bi dafa bari. The foolery is too much. And this is why we form a revolutionary movement. I keep telling you guys, once you're in this realm, they say you're a politician, but there are different kinds of politicians. There are different kinds of politicians. We are in 2025. This is June. By 2026, you will see all kinds of politicians because everybody all of a sudden wants a piece of the pie. Even some of you journalists that I'm seeing here, probably some of you will say I'm a candidate. I will not be surprised. Because this is where the president that is sitting right now have created this phenomenon of you have to be in the system to make it. You have seen some of your colleagues, you know, xam ne fii lañ nekkoon di liggéey ak yéen. Why? Because of ñu si boori nguur gi wala ci biir nguur gi, they're making it. So why not? Why not? Who are you not to be stand to be a president waaye li ñoo wax fii tey mooy dañoo ñaax Gambien yépp ñu taxaw am na lu fi xew bu yàggut mu disappoint nit ñi yépp mooy lan parti bi nga xam ne dafa oote ne moo fi gën a mag mooy UDP dama ko dee wax all the time dangaa toog nga dóor sa dina maa fi gën a mag si lan yow bu fekkee ne yaa fi gën a mag bon régleel sa kër boo fi gënee mag régleel sa kër parce que boo ko réglé wutee te yow yaa fi gën a mag coow li bari na bu fekkee ne mënuloo régler sa kër bon naka ngaa régler réew te buñ fàtte ne 2016 candidate ba sa UDP la jóge councilor si ngeen a gis nii mostly UDP la mayor yi ngeen a gis nii UDP la so ole ñu génn di xuloo si seen biir ba di ko indi ci biti ba pare ne kan bi ci wax ba ngeen ko indee ci biti moo tax ñu am ci kaddu di ci wax boo leen bëggutoon ñu wax nag ngeen denc ko ci biir seen biir kër buñ leen xamal seen sutura waaye ñun ñëpp dinañ ci wax parce que tey bu fekkee ne dañoo wax affaire endorsement wala alliance bon ku nekk sa kër gi dafa war a régler ndax du sa kër gi su régler wutee naka la ñoo amee fit ne dañoo alay na yow 2021 man Marie Soch endorse naa UDP 2021 leena day dinaa leen ko wax ñu jox ma cër bu rëy bu mut sek waaw jox nañ ma cër bu mut sek xaw ma woon sànni am na issue si biir ba yàlla def loolu jeex ma ñëw toog nekk Marie Soch continue Alliance of Social Democrats 2026 mooy ñëw it's a whole different ball game mu des nag si yéen Gambien si toog di xool di seet li fee xew you're all watching excuse me and you can see what is happening doo leen dof xam ngeen li xew seen doom yaa ngi jàng ñu ngi toog mënuñoo liggéey demuñ school xamuñ waaye am nañ xel yow bu fekkee ne yow jàngaloo sa doom ne la jàppale mu wax la li xew it's time ñu ubbi suñ xol yi ubbi suñ bët yi parce que ka nga xam ne mënut a régler kiram ka nga xam ne mënut a régler boppam am na yow yenn parti leaders yu am ne régler seen boppa sax mënuñ ko régler seen kër yi mënuñ ko bon naka la ñoo régler réew te ñu ne ñun ñëpp dañoo taxaw fii pour xeex pour génne fi Adama Barrow duñ mun a xool ñi nga xam ne ñu ngi government accountable te ñun régler wuñ den ñu bàyyi leen ñu continuer parce que nit ki boo bëggee xool ki toog accountable yow da nga war a régler da nga war a wane melukaan boo xam ne tey boo ko taxawee ñëpp dinañ ne kii dina utee ak ka toog waaye imaginal ci biir présidence bi ak ci biir NPP naka la jaxasoo ñoom si seen boppa régler wuñ their house is not in order the country is not in order nothing is in order. Now, if we want to beat that, shouldn't we be in order? Shouldn't we be better? Shouldn't we be examples of who we want to be so that we can lead? But if we are doing the same things, just like they are, what is the difference? Tey soo déggee ñu bare ne néegi UDP mu ngi jaxasoo bon et Adama Barrow dina continuer xanaa UDP rek ñoo fi nekk UDP rek a fi nekk o Mama Kandeh mu ngi dem si NPP xanaa Mama Kandeh rek a fi nekk xanaa du ñun bokkuñ woon si ñu sos GDC. Where's the majority of the Gambians? Where is the silent majority? I'm calling all of you, it's time to stand. Ngeen bàyyi seen xel bu baax si politicians yi nga xam ne ñu ngi génn ñun nag duñ toog fii di wax bu bari yéen ñëpp gis ngeen problème bi nekk si dëkk bi seen njiiti réew bu mu nee ñëw toog jaxaraan xool leen si seen biir bët ne leen la ngeen foog amut du dégg ñu ngeen liggéey ba tey bonte day warul leen a toog di xool ñun mi nekk opposition di ñu xool accountable ne nii ak nii ak nii yéen ngeen a am responsibility bi léegi parce que ñun ñëpp taxaw nañ ba am ngeen ci buuñaa moom des na si yéen ngeen taxaw demoon fi ngeen bokka wala fi ngeen war a dem bokka taxaw ak ñooñu jogante waaye di toog ne Adama Barrow will win again because you want Adama Barrow to win again. That is a lazy mindset. That is a lazy mindset. What you need to do is to say, I am ready to stand with Soch, or this is where I am, and we fight the fight for 2021, 2020, how do you call it, 2026. 2026 is not about taking Adama Barrow out. We are not going to make the same errors we did in 2021, in 2016. 2026 is not about Adama Barrow. It's about our sovereignty. It's about us Gambians and what we have to move forward. You want Ibrahim Traore? You can get Ibrahim Traore in a woman. It doesn't have to be a man. You can get Ibrahim Traore in a woman. It doesn't have to be a man, because the men you see, most of them don't have the cojones to do it. Do you understand? And that is why you need to stand for that. We need people that are ready to work. We need people that are ready to ask questions. We need people, and you guys should not be afraid. You don't have to be a journalist to ask a question. As Gambians, you need to stand up for yourselves. Hey, ñun mun nañoo jël suñ kenn ñu gën a def dellu fi ñoo dellu ñu toog fa di leen seetaan, because yàlla xam na ne dunda bi fii dafa miti. Yàlla xam na ne dunda bi fii dafa miti te nit ñi amuñ xaalis bi. Kuy aan $3,000 du mun a jënd saaku maalo right now. Kii aan $3,000 du mun a jënd saaku maalo, du mun a jënd diwlin ak li moo def si biir cin bi pour tooga. Loolu kenn mënu koy sedde yàlla. So Gambians, it is your right to ask questions. If you're in a political party and you cannot ask questions, then get the hell out of that political party. You should be 24/7 in our movement. People challenge us. Prior to him coming in, he challenged. And because he was satisfied, that is why. Right here, the same. And many others. And we are not, we don't fear anyone but the Almighty Allah to answer your questions. Because then just tanki digga. Gambia is not for sale. Gambia is not for somebody to get rich. Gambia is a sacrifice. So pour sacrifice, you lay down for your country. Just like in America, they're laying down their life for their country and call themselves Americans. It's the same way you lay down your life for your country and say, I am a Gambian. I barely tell people I am Aku, because as an Aku, in our compound, we had everybody working there. Everybody was with us. What we eat is what they eat. Even as we have these people in our compound, when I have to do my chores, my grandmother will make me go and do my chores. Lamin will go and do his chores, because we are one family. It's not about Lamin, or it's not about Alpha, or it's not about Keba. It's not about tribe. We Akus, you know, we don't have a tribe. We came back home and call ourselves Creoles. Who knows? Look at the geography of West Africa. Who were the majority? Mandinkas, right? Fulas. We lost that identity. Every time, every time you watane lolu muy re ma jox ko firnde yi mu nanti mari mbula way maneko mbula, I'm telling you the truth, billahi, sit down, let me tell you. So we don't have that problem, and until you own up ne Gambian nga fate tribe sibiti, billahi dinga muna taxaw nga liggéeyal sa dika, billahi dinga muna taxaw nga xeexal sa dika. Parce que bo déggé 2026 ñi ne do or die, because guerre la. So yow guerre bi nga dem xeex pour Gambia change, xana yow dañ ko xeex based on your tribe. Boo leen a dem Olympics, tribe moo leen fa yóbbu. Boo leen a tukki bitim réew si airport yi bitim réew, tribe moo leen fa yóbbu. Lan moo leen fa yóbbu? Do as a Gambian. The flag of the Gambia. How do you raise the flag of the Gambia high? Is by owning up. Tey boo gisee ñu ne America is great, it's because they take their flag and throw it high, put it high. But ñun Africans in the ñun not, benga hamne, all we see, we are tribe. They have already divided us by tribe and regions and sectors in Africa. And we are still living in that slavery mindset. And it's high time we begin to own up. You want to be Burkina Faso? It's not going to be easy. Because how many times they attempted to his life? How many of our men are ready for life attempt here? Seen góor yi ngeen am fii ñuy taxaw ñu bëgg a nekk Ibrahim Traoré te gisuma ñu sol mbubi soldaar ñaata ñoom suñ leen life attempt buy jóge America jóge feneen ndax they are ready to stand like him and have the guts and the audacity. Ñaata of them ngeen dégg su ñooy wax ñu wax tubaab yi dégg leen duñ ko nangu because they are all part of the system that is begging behind them. I don't have that fear. Man ben tubab duma yap. No foreign national will disrespect me because I am a true African. I sold my Africanness in America. I talked about me being an African woman and a Gambian to the point where it brought me a lot of problems. But I stood tall as that African woman that fought for who she is. And that is what each and every one of you should do. Because it's not just about Gambia, it's about Africa. Let's talk about a woman in the presidency. This is not about Gambia. Gambia is very small. Today, how many women do we have in Africa leading? Do you know if Gambia selects a woman right now, there will be a drastic shift, not only for Gambia, but the whole of the West Africa. And it's not just any woman, a woman that is ready to stand and speak their mind and take their country to the next level, just like Senegal and like Burkina Faso. It will be a revolution, and that's why you need a movement. The reason why we're having all this tribal nonsense, all this religious nonsense, is because of this political mindset which was here during colonial era. This is all neo-colonialism. They put that mindset in your heads. In a political party, you have women president, women mobilizer, youth president, youth mobilizer. The NPP has sacked their youth president. Just to show you how this, you are so indispensable. They can just sack you like that. You're not significant to the growth of this country. How can you sack your youth president? How can you sack your youth mobilizer? Because that's how they see you. You're nothing but a mobilizer and a president. You're a sector in their governance. That's why when they sit in office, you have no women sitting on the round table. Only one or two, just like a sprinkle, like a dot, just to show that we are being fair by throwing two pepi malo for one where we are gender whatever. And the same with the young people. So are you going to stand and continue that mindset till when? You want change? You want development? Then you need to be part of a movement that is inclusive. You look around us here. You look at some of the other people, members that are here cooking. They're all part of the movement and they all have a voice. I am a woman. If I had a political party, do I have a men president and men mobilizer? The whole constitution was designed for a man. But that's not right. There's no equal opportunity. There's no equal opportunity for our children. That is why all of you are marginalized. We need to break the cycle. We need to have a revolution where we say enough is enough and this is the way we go. When we go in to the government, we can invite elderly statesmen that have sacrificed their life for the Gambia to sit with us and reform the Gambia for the future of you and your children and your grandchildren for tomorrow. And that will be something they will leave behind. Lo xamne ñom ñep dañoo ñoo bokka ñu nekk an executive body ci biir suñ nguur gi ñu toog ñu liggéey ak ñun reform delloo leen ko yéen bu ko defee suñ wàccee ñun ñu retire ngeen continue dëkk bi am nag continuation ku jiite dafa ñëw rek xool di tubaab yi day def okay, president su toogee li ak la war a def first 100 days li ak li, so that this is how other countries are working. Everything is already there. It's a template. It's just to move on. They just change little bit. ñun loolu mooy suñ taxawaay, ñun loolu la ñoo wax, but it takes all of you to be part of that call. Tey waxtaan bi loolu la, tey waxtaan bi duñ fi toog di wax affaire yi diw ak diw am naag diw amut. Politician bu toog di wax affaire yi diw te amul clear information waxut leen dëgga, parce que information bi doo ko mun a am ba nga toog si biir, xanaa nga nekk lawyer mun a dig out, te foog nga taxaw ne danga taxaw pour loolu rek nga mun a am information yooyu, because nguur moo ñu ëpp ñun ñëpp doole, waaye tamit askan bi nga xam ne moo fa def ñi nga xam ne ñoo oo seen boppa nguur, ñun ñooy nguur gi, waaye ñun ñoo leen def as executive. Yéen si seen boppa each and every one of you mun ngeen a la daan ñu génn ci biti ñu toppatoo suñu réew. It takes all of us collectively. Man kàddu bu gëta boobu laa am pour wax leen tey, bugguma cee gudda. Loo leen am questions mun nga questions, you can come. That's Mr. Bitey as our chairman for ASD. That's Mr. Sane, our campaign manager, and myself as the independent aspirant. Thank you all so much for coming, Jodil and Jeff, and I'll wait for that question. Boom meeting. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I'm suffering from cold.
You should not even speak.
I want to talk about the people aspect. You understand? You made mention of that. You could not have it. Us could not have it as a general citizen. You also made mention of Senegal. We see Senegal when they are fast approaching to election. They are positive. One of their main things that they were selling out was digging out information from the government, literally about their petrol. So right now, if you guys are going to say that, or if you are saying that, any politician, or most of you people don't have the information, and the only thing that you can do is when government change. How do you expect us to do with that?
Well, this is the thing. We have information, enough information that we have, which is what we do our findings and have. I came here before and I told you about people who came to our office and said they have A block and so forth, right? He talked about, he knows more about, so we do have idea. But when you really want to know the whole truth, my dear, we're not privy to that as citizens. Even though I'm a politician, I'm a citizen. I'm not privy to that information. I cannot call Dr. Sisi and I need the information. If I go into the government today, I said, as a politician, I want to know what's going on, they're not going to talk to me.
But you must have your means to generate it from them. That's
how?
What we expect from you.
You are the journalist. No, you the journalist. You have the means to get that information for us, for the citizens of the Gambia. That's why you are a journalist. A journalist's work is to do investigative journalism. It is you to get that information. Me, I'm just a citizen that is standing as a politician to set the record straight. I have my information and I know what to do when elected to be able to get all what I need to get to the bottom of it. And all the Gambians will have access to that information because it is your right to have that access.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to say that when Her Excellency mentioned information, remember there are hard facts data that needs to be shared that can be evident. And your source of information, as much as you are a politician and can have inside information, there is a tendency of a shift in that information as it develops. My experience in the oil sector with the Gambia factually tells you that there is a discovery of blocks of oil, which is rigs, that have been identified on and offshore. So there are probably 6 in total, 4 offshore and 2 onshore. Now, if we go in depth to unveil all the information, which I will cite the ministers of energy who have been here and have convinced the former president and the current administration to go through certain negotiations and agreements, even having a company whose job is to explore and exploit oil. What does that tell you? There is a company called FAR. It's an Australian company, FAR Limited, right? They are what we call Purpose Service Vehicle Company. Purpose Service Vehicle Company means a smaller entity of a bigger company to take on contractual agreements on their behalf. So Petronas and Petronu are all part of those organizations that are the bigger companies, right? So if we are to dwell on the information individually, as you were explaining, PASTEF used that because PASTEF's access to the information was the individuals were inside the government.
We were in the system before.
Right? These are the guys who have first-hand information because they were part and parcel of either the exploration process, the taxing of those, because there is a system, there is a way in terms of getting a rig in a country. The first is to even find out if it exists. Now, there's a lot of money involved to doing that. And the person or the company that will be buying that rig are not the one that are going to exploit it or explore it. They just have something that is said, there is a quantity of oil in there. They make an agreement with the owner, the country, and make that payment, right? And pledge that they will put a value to that rig to certain extra value. Meaning if they buy for 10 bill, they will pledge that they will put a value, meaning they will do more extra research and how much they, how deep you have to dig, what kind of equipments are required, what the time frames are, all of that it requires money. They said they will put that on. And then it will add the value from 10 bill to maybe 20. And then they will sell it to onward the actual company that will come and exploit it. Now, you have to have a purpose service vehicle in order to cut corners. Cutting corners is where these irresponsible negotiations have been taking place. You will never find a company whose sole responsibility is to exploit oil and come and have an office here at Turntable at the Energy Ministry Energies building without you having oil. It doesn't make sense. If it does, you tell me.
That is
but then we will explore. When it comes to political information, we have the right information to share with the people about the oil, about the hospitals, about everything that concerns the Gambia. Make no mistake.
Yeah, we are not going to do. You see, today Senegal is going through the same problem. PASTEF had made a lot of promises based on political talks. I don't do this. If they would have stuck with what they sold to you and me, that it's just a transitional president, then we would not be in this situation. Because then 3 years, Muwacha, then we would have gone into a real election after the 3 years, and then now that president that won at the 3 years could have now done his 5 years, and now probably even going back to elections to go to the other 5 years. But they said, no, give him the opportunity. It's his constitutional right. They went back to the constitution and failed on the agreement. Gor rek la muna don. Waye bu fekke ne amulo kaddu wala do gor, mun nga dem nga or. Understand nga? Man nak jigen la duma muna tok fi, ñi ñep nek suma gannaaw ñep taxaw ak man, ma dugga ba ci biir di oraté ne dédé légui nak dama dugga man tam dama form sama own political party. Number 1, number 2, jigen ñun dañ gaawa maget. Te mënu ñoo yaga ci place tok fofu na dañoo kurtu di liggéey bu ko nañoo paré ñu retire mëna fo ak suñ seti ak suñ seti liñ bu ko def moy régler problème bi régler li nga xamné mo fi am 2016 te duñ ko def ñun kenn amna ay kilifa yo xamné machallah bu ko nañ dëkk bi bu ko nañ réew bi xéxal nañ réew bi ñenay amna ño xamné tej nañ leen dik réew bi ñi ñëpp dañ leena invite ñu tok ak ñom ñu reform suñ dëkk bi pour yeen mi taxaw fi tay pour seen élek ak seen jaboti waaw.
Yeah.
I just want to bring up
Which media house are you from again?
I'm from SS Media.
SS, okay. And your name is?
Swear.
Swaibu.
Okay, you were talking about them bringing a project that cost millions, and you said someone told you that like you should give something to the minister. I don't know, some of the ministers you had. We would love to know at that point in time who are those in that ministry, and then what is that something you are asked to give?
Money. This is a common problem. I can start from 2003 when I first brought an airline project. It was called Gam Air, and it was a £10 million project which was equivalent to the Gambian GDP at the time. The ministries that aligned with that, Ministry of Communication, Information and Technology, Minister of Transport, Ministry of Energy, and the State House had created some so-called advisors to the president, all of whom were involved. Involved in that, an airline requires what we call an AOC, Air Operator Certificate. And the intention wasn't to get a certificate elsewhere to come and operate in the Gambia. So the ministers that are involved, I will not name names, but not only the ministers, it is from GAIPA, which is the main body to, expand on projects and important export, to the ministries that are aligned with this. The latest one I mentioned, it was a health-related project, right? The minister has appointed us to meet weeks, months on end. We met some of the directorates. We met some of the directorates at the PPP, which is public-private partnership, or public-private partnership, and the Ministry of Finance. Now, the people that ask you for money, they ask the money for those people, but they are in the in-betweens. Because remember, it's a transactional government. We have had the car, the car power, the one they were supplying now. We have had people with private jets landed at the airport and then be driven to the State House to negotiate and sign contracts. We have right now talked about these feeder routes that Her Excellency was talking about. Have you ever seen a tender been called? Have they gone through the process of actually tendering and having bids from different qualified bidders? And through that process, the contract be awarded? So these are transactional governments where you go and give pledge or give money so that you will get contracts. Now, someone who is bringing investment has no need for you to help them because you're the one who needs that project. And you, in turn, put conditions that, hey, we need to give a brand envelope to the State House, someone who is the head of the state, or we need to give a brand envelope to the minister. This is what's been happening. When it comes to the time of naming names and putting evidence forward,
we don't need to name names, but he has already done that. I've been through the same process. It's a norm. Do we have any other questions so we can wrap up? We don't name names.
We have.
Sometimes you have to name names.
No, because they know